The Evergreen Media Network Studio, powered by Scott Tree Services.
Honestly, without Treasure Coast Community Health, I think we'd be a much poorer community in terms of our health. We're always striving to fill the gap for everyone in the community, rich or poor. Good afternoon and welcome to Community Conversations. My name is Vicki Soule. I'm the CEO of Treasure Coast Community Health, where we provide primary medical, dental, behavioral health, sort of a one-stop shopping at 8 different locations around town. So I am always happy to welcome our guests here because we have some that have been in the community a long time, some that have just recently come into the community within the last year, but you can always count on the variety. We always have someone very personable and professional. Well, until today, no, I'm kidding. And so I'd like to welcome Kristal and Ian from Motivational Edge. So Ian, you're the talker of the group. I figured that out in the first 30 seconds. Why don't you tell us what your role is and a little bit about your company?
Awesome. Thank you, Vicki. This is great. Thanks for having us today.
My pleasure.
Founder and CEO. So my name is Ian Welch. I started the Motivational Edge 16 years ago.
Wow.
June 30th, 2008. So just over 16 years.
But not in this community.
Not in this community.
Okay.
Started down in South Florida when I was teaching in Miami. I'll tell more about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
16 years. That's a lot of experience. And Kristal, how did you connect up with him?
I started working with the organization 2 years ago. I've been in Vero for 20 years, so that's how
Hometown
we kind
girl.
of stay.
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah,
okay.
long enough. Yeah. So that's how Ian came to this area, and it was just a natural progression to open up another location here.
So tell us about your location.
Yeah. Awesome. So the one up here in Vero Beach, it's at 2436 US 1. For those that know the area well, it's the former Oxygen Plus building.
Only now it's got a fancy door.
Yep, fancy door. We put some graphics all over the outside of it so you can tell our branding there.
Okay.
And really we've replicated a lot of the success and the proof of concept model that we've had down in South Florida for years. So really Miami-Dade and Broward County, creative arts, so arts-based youth development. And how can we pull kids in with creative pathways to success, ultimately helping them build on life skills, healthy relationships in their lives, all the while focusing on what it is that they want. And that's the motivational pathway. And then the edge, what it is that they truly need.
Very nice. So when you talk about teenagers, what age groups are you talking about? From 12 up or 15 or?
Great question. So really it's second grade on up. Our high needs area a lot of times are these kiddos that come to us, and I say kiddos, but really teenagers from places like Hibiscus House and other community-based partners that really need and could benefit from the creative arts as an outlet. But then we're in Vero Beach Elementary School, Fellsmere Elementary School, helping to bring the arts into the classroom setting, get kids to open up, and sometimes even get more involved in their academic setting because they're excited about another
going
offering.
to school now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're not just on the US 1 location is what I'm gathering.
We're not. And Kristal could tell a little bit about the outreach
I think
programs.
we're in 4 schools and then doing projects in 4 schools and working closely with Indian River Academy or Indian River Prep. And we have some outreach that we do in the local, like in Fort Pierce and Brevard, but mostly the campus is where the kids come to be at a space, but we can bring anything anywhere.
So is this an after-school program or during school to supplement things that the art teacher or music teachers might be doing?
Both.
Yeah,
a bit of both.
Great question.
Okay.
So really has been evolving over 16 years where now we have a full-fledged drop-in program.
Okay.
So if you could think academic support, oftentimes scaffolding back and doing some course recovery work and some credit recovery work for kids that might be functioning below grade level, but then also offering a spot for kids that might be in homeschool, kids that are suspended. So we focus on the lowest 25% performing in the public school system.
Okay.
Oftentimes the lowest 25% performing have behavior issues. So our drop-in program serves those kids that aren't necessarily cutting it, you could say, or really just being engaged in the general education setting. And then we have an after-school program. We have an evening program, which focuses more on the individual needs of kids. So the after-school program, the kids get to go into the digital design studio, the art studio, the music studios, and from there, the trained staff can see what kids might need more, whether in the way of talent development or using the arts as a therapeutic tool to maybe dig a little deeper, right? So that's when the evening classes, kind of a lot of that happens, and then also weekends as well. So down south, we operate 365 days a year. I'm hoping that now we're on year 2 up in this location. We opened July 21st. Of 2023. This year, we're going to try to do close to 365 days a year. It's
almost your anniversary. That's wonderful.
Yes, yeah.
They say businesses that can make it past the first year are bound for success. That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're excited about the partners here. You know, we have Communities Connected for Kids, phenomenal partner. That got us in with groups like Hibiscus House, got Kristal connected with a network of case managers and social workers and therapists that could really benefit from having a partner like the Motivational Edge in this region. And that's ultimately what we want to do. We want to come in and be part of a network. We want to come in and say, okay, what is in need with a troubled population, with a difficult group of kids, right? Why are they not receiving what it is that other adults are kind of putting down in front of them on the buffet of items?
Right.
And how can we maybe help to recraft that messaging or offer a new healthy option for them, you know?
That's amazing. And I hear the teacher in you.
Yes.
I do. So tell us about that and how you made the life transition between I'm a kid, now I'm going to school, I think I'll be a teacher, and then this.
Yeah,
so
great.
What happened in between?
Great weighted question. I know we only have about 15 minutes.
Okay, Reader's Digest version.
No, so really violent. So backtrack. We were part of something called the Fresh Air Fund when I grew up in Westchester County, New York, suburbs of New York, about 45 minutes north of Yonkers, or outside of the city, about an hour, right?
Okay.
The Fresh Air Fund was where kids, usually in foster care, from one of the 5 boroughs in New York could come up and stay in the burbs for the summer, right? Fresh Air Fund, literal name.
Literally.
My parents were a part of that, so we were a part of that as a family with my brothers and I.
Okay.
And I loved it. I got to ask kids, like, what do you mean you don't know how to ride a bike? You don't know your dad? Like, these questions when you're a kid could blow your mind. You don't know how to swim?
Yeah.
So then that provoked more of the why in me. So then I got to working and volunteering in YMCAs and Boys and Girls Clubs and learned what really was working and saw what was working, what wasn't. Went on to undergrad, played soccer, leveraged my legs a lot of times in my life to get me in different rooms. And then really I found my calling when I met Donna Phillips, who was an advisor at University of Bridgeport. I did my 100-hour practicum in Phoenix Academy, which was one of her schools for youth on the spectrum. And it blew my mind what the arts could do for kids that really weren't gravitating to anything else.
Right.
If we just put one kind of healthy option in front of them. So in came my master's program, master's in education, I had a minor in business. So for me, once I learned education, what was the business behind it? And how were we failing so miserably?
I never once heard you say you spent any classroom time, though. Did I miss something? Did I blink?
Classroom time?
Yeah.
Oh, so you mean before I started the business?
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm sorry. After my master's, I taught for 4 years in Miami.
Okay.
And that's really when I learned so much. I taught chess. My students took first in the state and 18th in the nation.
Wow.
And I learned that chess, the arts, and just a way to connect with kids was the way to develop pathways to success, whatever success looked like.
Right.
So taught for 4 years, surveyed around 1,200 families with colleagues of mine, started the Motivational Edge. What does success look like for kids in the Allapattah inner city Miami community? And that's Liberty City, Allapattah, Overtown area.
Not a real rich district is what you're saying.
Not too many resources, but so much talent, right? Unrecognized performance potential all throughout. Where with groups like the Motivational Edge and phenomenal groups, other groups that are out there, kids now have a way in. So
without having to do tag art.
Yeah, well,
or
maybe
use
they
that
do.
tag art as an outlet in a better area.
There you go.
But really
We call them
teach
murals now, right?
Yes, we
Instead
do.
of tag
Yeah,
art.
yep.
And that's
Exactly.
and that's part of the ways that the organization generates some revenue with Imagine.
Yeah, we did
Charter
the
School.
cafeteria to Imagine.
Yeah.
Last year, came in and redid all 4 walls in
Nice.
brand new
Staff
murals.
and a
It looks
couple
great.
students got involved.
I was going to ask about the funding piece of it because that's always the holdup.
Yeah.
Parents of these kids are probably not going to afford tutors and all the traditional helping things that you might think about.
Yeah.
So how do you guys survive financially?
Ian likes to say creatively.
Yeah, and that's why.
That's exactly what I'd expect from Ian already.
but that's another reason why we created this, right? When I was in the classroom for 4 years, I didn't know who my kids in foster care were. They didn't tell me what kids
not.
and families were experiencing homelessness. That aggravated the living heck out of me because I wanted to target those kids in a good way. Because if I knew they were going home or not even going to a home,
Right. Or had no food.
come on,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
food or
come
something.
on.
Right.
And isn't that the job of a teacher, of an educator, right? Like, and I never called myself a teacher. I was an educator, and I
Thank
still
the
am.
attorneys for that one, though.
Yeah,
The
tell me about
privacy
it.
laws and FERPA
Tell me about
and
it.
all the other
Yeah.
things are there.
Yep. So for us, one of the ways that we're funded, getting back to the question, is through fee-for-service programs
Okay.
that Department of Education, Department of Children and Families, and Department of Juvenile Justice can't collectively do. And I'm not bashing them. They are old systems that do things extremely well, but relating with teenagers today is not one of them. And that's
true.
And that's where we come in with our creative arts programming, and we're able to charge some charter schools, not public schools, but some charter schools, private and some public organizations, mostly within child welfare and juvenile justice, where we can come in and almost reset the culture in group homes, in residential facilities, train the staff at the same time we're working with kids on what does it mean to have a culture of positivity and not want a victim and all of that. So really it's through a fee-for-service model. It's through individual and corporate contributions like any other 501c3, and it's through robust grant making. We research and write grants extensively. Very happy to announce, and we can announce it publicly, right? CSAC. Yes, it went out. It went out to everybody.
It's now been published.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so some small, some funding through them that we're ecstatic about because now it allows us to really partner with local government and report back to taxpayers on where money is going into with a segment of the population that is really overlooked in Indian River County. If I could just be very honest about it, youth in foster care here, show me where
There's a couple, and we'll talk about during our break.
But there's not a lot of places for them.
Yes.
That's absolutely true.
There's
That's
amazing
true.
partners and organizations here, but to find the home base to do the serving, to cut through some of the red tape, as you mentioned before, is difficult.
And the fragmentation is certainly there. So we're going to take a short break for a word from our sponsors before we run through all 24 minutes just like that. And so we'll be back in just a minute for more conversation from Ian and Kristal, but stay with us for our sponsor announcements, please. Treasure Coast Community Health in-house pharmacies have the lowest prices in Indian River County, even lower than big box pharmacies. Taking your medication as prescribed leads to better health. Affordable medicine makes it easier. Treasure Coast Community Health patients can pick up medicine as they leave the office or use free delivery and mail order services. Pharmacists are always available to answer questions. Switch to TCCH pharmacies. Save money, stay healthy. 772-257-8224 and ask about our price match.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats and chairs in all the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Riverside, Universal, Four Seasons, Braxton Color, and Capri. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of Berlin Gardens and Bollywood. Hollywood. We specialize in fire pits, outdoor rugs, umbrellas, and replacement cushions. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Family owned and operated since 1991. Don't forget to visit our outlet store directly across the street, filled with lots of name brand closeouts and sale items. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Ooh, have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
And welcome back to Community Conversations. If you're just joining us, I'm talking today with some folks that have a process, a leadership group, a home on US 1 now called the Motivational Edge. So Ian and Kristal, can't say how pleased I am to have you here so you can spread the word about what you're doing. You've been on site for a year, but 16 years of modeling this adventure.
Yes.
I don't know what else to call it, with kids in motivating them and filling their needs. So it's great to hear not only your enthusiasm, but some of the things that you've accomplished so far.
Thank you.
So just as a guesstimate, Kristal, how many kids do you think you have touched?
So because it's the end of our fiscal year, that's the trick. We saw 109 kids in the campus over the past year.
She was putting the data together with our operations.
I'm on top of things right now.
This
I've
morning.
got all these questions.
And she didn't. And I didn't even have to prime her. She just knew.
We did about 109 kids in just over a year.
And that's at the campus?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
And you say that's from second grade through high school
Through 12th,
graduation?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen a couple kids age out. We've helped them with that process, setting them up with independent living.
Ah.
Yeah, and we touched on partners before. Another one I don't think we talked about is Career Source.
Yes.
And the woman, again, remind me, please.
Terry.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Terry's awesome. And Career Source here is a great partner because they place young adults with us that need essentially job placement.
Yeah, some training.
Yep, their wages are offset by Career Source. And one of the young ladies we actually hired to work at the front desk of our campus after she was done with her Career Source time. Yeah.
Now, they are wonderful in terms of supporting people getting started by paying for their initial wages while they're training. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, they do a great job over there.
And so what would you say is the average age of the kids that you serve?
I would
middle
say
school?
maybe 12. Yeah, middle school. Definitely middle school.
No challenges there, right, with changing hormones?
Easy peasy. You know, actually, it is funny that you say that because one of the things that other organizations always come back to with us is, you know, how many kids have run away from there? And I could proudly say none. And they didn't believe it. But, you know, it's a different kind of outlet for them, what we give them. They don't want to run away. In fact, we had somebody run to us once. That was nice.
I just appeared at your doorway, right?
Yeah, they didn't get picked up at Vero Beach High School. Their caretaker didn't pick them up. And he walked, what's going to be almost 2 miles probably to get over to
US 1.
In the Florida heat makes it feel like 15 miles.
But I'm sure there was motivation to do so, probably from another student that you saw.
Yeah, they do talk about it a lot. Ian went in and talked at Indian River Prep, and a handful of our kids were in there like, oh.
Yeah, that's
didn't want to say. Some of them didn't want to say
Not
that they came. Yeah.
Well, the peer pressure is pretty heavy.
And we provide transportation as well because so many of the kids that we serve, we like to say we reach the unreachable because kids that can't get to us but really want to and sometimes need to be there, they can't get there. Their therapist or case manager might have referred them, but there's no transportation available. So for that, we have one minivan so far in the region, or specifically for the campus.
One.
If we had 4, they would all be full.
For 18 kids, we were doing 18 kids a day at the close of the school year.
Wow.
Three trips, 6 kids apiece.
Yeah. And, so and oftentimes transportation is a huge barrier. You see that as a barrier for pretty much any services across the spectrum that families, youth, or adults need. Transportation is often a barrier.
It's one of the first questions they ask us.
And as a community, we're really blessed because the GO line has got 14 different routes. It goes out of the county for the schools and that. But the reality is that you have to be a certain age. It takes a while because not all of them are direct routes. And, so there are a lot of challenges, particularly for our younger students to to do that. So that's wonderful. I don't want to miss the opportunity, though, to have our listeners know how to get a hold of you.
Excellent. So, I mean, we could give out email and all that. I would just say, first and foremost, for me, come by the campus.
Anytime you want.
Anytime. Come by. Really, it's from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
5 days a week is when we'll be open. Weekends now is really by, you could say, appointment only, but it's based on need
Well,
and some
summertime,
programs that we're
right?
building out.
It is summertime.
Exactly.
And we are going to
Exactly.
Hibiscus on Saturdays and working with the kids in their studio.
Oh, excellent.
Ah.
Excellent.
So when you talk about creative arts,
Yeah.
I'll come back to contact. They'll give you guys time to find a pen and paper here. But when you talk about the creative arts, you mentioned that you had taught chess. Now, is that part of the creative arts? Or are we talking about painting and artwork, drawing, or
chess is
what
in
does that
there, but
mean?
not necessarily creative art.
Okay.
But it's definitely an outlet that we'll offer. For us, though, really think a studio like this that we're sitting in now.
Okay.
Where a kid could learn how to set this equipment up. They could learn how to edit the video. I know we're live right now, but if this was to be edited, how to edit the video.
Okay.
They could learn the audio behind it. So much about the process of AV and in a studio.
Okay.
And then music instruments, starting with their voice. So with, getting a kid confident with his or her voice and stand up for themselves, advocate for themselves, and it can turn into, spoken word poetry, rapping, singing, any instrument that you could think of, we offer it, right? From drums, and that could be a standard drum set, to congas or other types of percussion. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have music teachers with that?
Yes.
Especially since you started to say violin. It was like, you can't just pick that up and improvise like you could a drum.
Guitar, piano. So we've been building it as we're flying it up in this region.
Okay.
Right. Down south, Dade and Broward, we offer the gamut in a multitude of locations. We've been up here a year now, and we could say that, a handful of instruments. And really what we do there is it's a little bit of an economic development model as well, where we hire and then train local artists to be teaching artists for us.
Nice.
And oftentimes it turns into 15, 20 hours a week at a very nice wage. That
So
they
like
can
early
then,
retirees that find that golf is not their life
That would be
after
great.
retirement?
Absolutely.
Those
Them
folks
as
would
well.
be welcome.
Them as well.
Teachers,
Yep.
right? Hiring teachers for after school
Teachers are
hours.
so important. Me coming from the classroom, it wasn't enough financially. That wasn't my motivator. It not being enough for the kids was my motivator, but teachers, they need the extra money in their pocket, the extra income.
They've got 9 or 10 months of working and 2 months of starving.
Yep. And for us as an agency, it alleviates a cost burden on the front end with the training. If we can get a certified teacher out of the classroom to come in and tutor an age-appropriate student, way less training, way less,
Okay.
working it in.
So again, a listening audience, if you know of someone or you yourself are interested, now's the time Ian's going to give us the contact info.
Yep, and Kristal's going to give that in a minute. What I'll say is, if you don't mind, Kristal, come in and visit us. Although we do have trained staff, we oftentimes look for successful adults in the community to serve as mentors, right? Because so many times, really 13, 14 and up, it's about giving that young person the aha moment and the eye opener.
I could do that.
That I can do that.
I could do that.
And that oftentimes takes them walking into a career field, literally walking into an office, feeling uncomfortable, right? So mentors, volunteers, absolutely. I know we are hiring now for some music instrument teachers that we could talk about. And then if you don't mind giving out the information, how people can contact us.
Maybe go to the website. My email's on there. The address is on there. Our phone number's on there. So that's the Motivational Edge Vero.
The Motivational Edge?
Yep.
Okay.
The Motivational Edge, Vero.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so those are the kinds of things that will bring you more success going forward. And so I can't tell you how excited I am because you have such a broad range of opportunities for kids and willing to take kids in a broad age range. You're filling a gap there, without a doubt.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Thanks for giving us this opportunity to talk to you. This was
Thanks
super
for
fun.
having us.
Well,
This is fun.
anytime.
Yeah,
I feel
thank you.
bad. You've been here almost a whole year, and it took somebody that we both know to get you on the program.
All right, we'll
so
come back.
Thank you, Susan.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you, Susan.
And thank you for being with us. I hope that this has been helpful and entertaining for you as well. And we'll be back next week for another wonderful set of guests. So take care. Have a great evening.